Yeah. So, absolutely fucking ridiculous. All right, it's William J. Jackson here, winecellarmedia.com. I get home from the old workplace, go in the old basement, have a reefer doobie, lift some of the weights, listen to some hip hop shit on Vlad TV, hit the shower, come out, and Phoenix Calida is like, nigga, Miss Major endorsed Sanders. Chris Matthews just quit live on fucking air. And Chuck D from Public Enemy, they're saying that Flavor Flav is fired, which I don't know if that's the exact wording they use. All this came to me really fast, like as I'm on the way to the desk with not much time to get down to the get down, if you will. Where the fuck do you jump in first? Let me hop right over to Skippy Flippy Dibadoo. Flavor Flav and Chuck D of Run DMC. Now I'm taking a look over here at rollingstone.com. Somebody now by the name of Daniel Krebs got this information up, and whoever's editing got the headline up saying Public Enemy fire Flavor Flav after Bernie Sanders rally spat. And to my understanding, I think to most folks' understanding, essentially it said Public Enemy's gonna be performing, but Flav wants his likeness removed. And it's like, is niggas really like Bernie Sanders pushing for people to wear clock medallion necklaces? And it's like, you're not the only nigga that wore sunglasses and a hat on sideways. It was the fucking 80s, right? Going into the early 90s. Get over that shit. And also, like, you're the fucking hype man. It's like, you're not a writer, not a serious MC. You're a hype man. And I'm also one, I don't be on that legendary shit. There's some hip hop heads that be acting biblical about the shit. I don't follow those sort. As a hip hopper myself, as a participant and a contributor to the culture, I don't be on that shit where it's like you have to follow these certain rules where like Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac Shakur and Rakim or Big Daddy Kane or Cool G Rap have to be in your top 5 dead or alive. I don't follow these bullshit rules. Things like that. And I don't think that Public Enemy, simply by saying, hey, racism exists, makes them some sort of super militant, illest Black Panther niggas on the planet. Like, that's just not, it's not fucking there. Just like my favorite Crip Hop niggas are not the hardest, most imperialist niggas in the world that'll take down any nation because they can ride on the block. So off top, like, I think heads on the outside make it too major, and then people are aware of that hyperbole, so you have Republicans and Democrats trying to grift off of Flavor Flav using silly bullshit hotep talking points and right-wing talking points, which tend to mesh well together, especially considering that, Bernie, Jew, hoteps, they got a problem with the Jews, right? Like that guy that calls himself Hotep Jesus, on his YouTube show, he'll just say, he won't say Jewish folks, but he'll say, oh, but the Jesus killers, or he'll be like, oh man, it's like they'll see a bad headline about like Dianne Feinstein, and because he's a Republican grifter, he'll be like, oh, Feinstein, I don't like that for whatever fucking reason. He'll be like, huh, you think about that? Feinstein, Weinstein, who was that, the motherfucker, that didn't kill himself? Who's the one that didn't kill himself? Epstein. And that nigga that calls himself Hotep Jesus, he'll just straight up say, yeah, you see a connection there? You see some similarities with these people and their culture? He straight up says that shit on his YouTube show. It's fucking bugged out. And that's what some of these hoteps are going to be about, and right-wingers, obviously. And so, off of rollingstone.com with Daniel Krebs, Public Enemy, fire Flavor Flav over Bernie Sanders rally spat. Let's take a look at a little bit of the information here. It begins with a quote saying Flavor Flav has been on suspension since 2006 when he was missing in action from the Harry Belafonte benefit in Atlanta, Georgia. And that comes from a statement signed by group members Chuck D, DJ Lord, Jahai, James Bomb, and Pop Diesel. Damn, these some old school ass. Pop Diesel? Damn, that's an old school ass name. Quote saying that was the last straw for the group. He had previously missed numerous live gigs from Glastonbury to Canada, album recording sessions and photo shoots. He always chose to party over work. And it says that they continued Public Enemy radio toured Europe and co-headlined with the Wu-Tang Clan. And this was back in May 2019. And so there's more information there. We're going to go ahead and link that with winecellarmedia.com with a web post.
Did you look at the Billboard one too?
You're not near a microphone. Oh. Phoenix Colita said something, but she's not near a microphone. It says, and this one's coming off pitchfork.com. I think I may have seen this outlet before. Maybe like on some climate change shit or so. It sounds familiar. I don't know why I think I've seen pitchfork.com before, but their article's coming up by Madison Bloom, staff writer. To my understanding, Madison is a fem name. And their headline that they got was Flavor Flav blasts Chuck D over firing, saying that there is no Public Enemy without Flavor Flav. And as I said at the beginning of the segment, nigga, you're a hype man. You're a fucking hype man. All right, you want to know, like, among hip-hop heads, you may have heard this name, Royce the 5'9", coming out of Detroit. Actually really was a kid coming in the game. I think was somewhere between 17 and 19 years old when Eminem put Royce on. And then during the time that 50 was coming out, Royce was displeased with not having like a solo album and all the music videos and whatnot yet. And so he wanted to split up and break. He recorded a track called Malcolm X, dissing D12 and whatnot. You know, and this was during the whole Ja Rule time. Everyone had a good time. There were a lot of diss tracks, a lot of mixtape action at this time in hip-hop. Mm-hmm. And from that time, you may have noticed I didn't mention something, and that was a hot, big platinum Royce the 5'9" album with a world tour. Why? Because Royce was a hype man that quit his job. Okay? Do you understand? You're the fucking hype man. As far as hip-hop culture and like the verbal and visual representation, going from being some street shit in the Bronx and New Jersey and Brooklyn and Queens and Los Angeles. You had a lot of pop lockers. There were MCs out there at the time. I don't know much about the history of the South. I think you might want to turn to someone like Mia X. She has a lot of memorized knowledge for that out of Louisiana. But yeah, the hype man can go. And also the DJ, because the MC became the thing. The hype man literally actually is like an added on part that like gets to kind of ride with hip hop. Like the hype man is actually not even a contributor. We're talking about the elements of hip hop, the MC, the DJ, the graph artist, the break dancer. All right, and then I add in the beatboxer. It's hard for me to get people to agree with me on this. I'm like, fuck, I think the beatboxer is their own fucking element. Yes. Like, that's literally making music with your body, and it's hip-hop. So that is the fifth element to me. A lot of cats will stop at 4 elements. Hambone? Yeah. What's that?
Oh, that is, Boots Riley made a thread about that, saying that back before the 60s, a lot of rappers were doing like ham bone records in prison, which is basically like beatboxing and using body parts to make music.
Okay, see?
But it was known as ham bone to him.
Uh-huh. And there you have it. So, but the thing is, like, at these parties, the the DJ was the main thing because the DJ was like mixing these records, doing wild shit. Like you can look at some old stories back before it even had the name hip hop, when people were calling it shit like executive style, like just some wild fucking names like Zigzagaboo Kids, whatever the fuck. Like just a bunch of Italian, Puerto Rican, Irish, black, and whatnot kids in New York just bugging out. And you'd go to see the DJ because they'd be doing shit like putting a drum beat and making a break beat over like I Dream of Jeannie. Like they were really doing some ill shit on those things. And then the MC, which is the master of ceremonies, they introduce everything at an event. The MC would start busting a little rhyme to introduce the DJ. And over time, like, I mean, obviously you're in front of a crowd. What's one of the best ways to amuse a crowd? Well, take a look at stadiums with 10, 20,000 people to see a stand-up fucking comedian be funny. So the MC can start making some punchlines, cracking some jokes. And then another MC might be like, oh, they got that joke, but I got this. I may even make a joke about him. Now we're battling. And the MC becomes a more interesting thing than the DJ. Before the transition into mainstream with the Rapper's Delight record, this is not where this segment was supposed to go.
Yeah,
but we got, again, like I say, like a lot of white women listen to this program, and well, now they know these things.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you, what I said earlier before I pulled my chair was if you saw the Billboard article. They ran a nice like timeline of issues that like Flavor Flav and Public Enemy have had together, like from the start. And one of the things they mentioned was they did not like him going on reality TV in 2005 because they felt he was like just sort of embarrassing himself. They didn't like his tell-all book in 2011 where he talked about spending $2,000 a day on crack. They didn't think like that was necessarily like the way he put it out there. They didn't think was the best way to put it out there. Then in 2012, he was arrested for beating up his girlfriend and chasing her son around the house with kitchen knives. Obviously, they didn't approve of that. Right. And then they talked about, did you talk about the Harry Belafonte?
Well, all it really matters is that a Jew broke him up.
The
Jew did. It was the fucking Brooklyn Jew that did it.
It did. Yeah. Did you talk about the Harry Belafonte thing?
No.
So apparently Harry Belafonte has like a musical festival, and he had asked them to perform there, and Flavor Flav refused because it was like a charity event. And apparently Flavor Flav does not believe in doing free concerts. And they were like, we're a political band, we're about public awareness, we're about doing the work, we're gonna do fucking charity events. And so Flavor Flav was like really, really mad about that.
And this is why I'm glad that fucking during my alcohol bender last summer, I binged on Vlad TV interviews, and I watched every single, like, as the Flavor Flav clips were dropping, like, every day after work, after doing the 12-hour and 14-hour overtime shifts, I'd go booze it up in the basement. I was a fucking booze hound last summer. Jeez, I don't even know what my blood type was. Like, I probably shaved a couple years off my life just last summer alone. And, watching Flavor Flav's interview on Vlad, I was like, this nigga's corny. Like, his shit it's interesting because a fucking old, not new ones, but like the old New Yorkers just yelling and telling stories, it's a fun show to watch.
Right.
But at the same time, it's also like, it's a corny ass nigga, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and so apparently one of the big things about the Harry Belafonte event is that apparently Harry inducted them into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and then after that asked them, and like traveled across the country to do it, and then after the fact asked them to do this event, and Flavor Flav was like, no, because it's free, it's a fundraiser and I'm not getting paid. So yeah, there was some beef over that. And then apparently at a concert in 2016, Chuck D said Black Lives Matter, fuck Donald Trump, and Flavor Flav wouldn't agree with him. Flavor Flav said, this was what, 2016, they have a quote. Flavor Flav said,
Yes.
I'm not really the politician of the group, which is weird because you're a fucking political group. That's how you're known, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever. You don't have to be political to be in a political group. I'm not really a politician of the group. There's a lot of people talking a lot of shit about Trump, but guess what? He's winning. The man is winning. I ain't gonna lie, but listen, the United States has been ran a certain way for decades and decades and decades. You never know. Maybe Trump could possibly do something. Maybe he might step in office and do something. I'm not going to doubt him.
I swear to fuck, as far as like old New Yorkers running their fucking mouths and just totally surviving on chutzpah, he is an intellectual equivalent of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Just from you reading that out loud. Of course, like, when you hear him speak, his charisma is different because it's working class and black. But they're running on chutzpah. But,
yeah.
Their headline, yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. And then in 2017, he actually sued Chuck D, alleging unpaid royalties. So there's been problems for a while. And then, of course, the Bernie concert was a free concert. And as we have learned, Flav does not do free concerts. So it's not like they're selling out Flav for the Jew. It's not, which is what I'm seeing on Twitter. It's not actually like that.
Yeah. Well, and also, and again, like, in the hype man, the hype person, if you will, can go. Like, they just don't matter as much. And also because they're literally not an element of hip hop, they're an accessory of monetized performance. Like, you're part of a show. You're like the lights. But the DJ, they're a part of the show, but they were also a part of hip hop first, which is why we knew about Tone Loc's DJ cutting rhythms, and LL Cool J's DJ cut creator. Salt and Pepper had Spinderella. They actually had 2 Spinderellas. Because, and again, like, even though the DJ is relevant culturally, the MC is the face. So you can literally change the DJ mid-career, drop another album, go on tour with the new DJ doing the old songs. So it's like, Flav shouldn't be surprised by this, and I know they're not tuning in, but let's pretend that the fucking conservatives and liberals that are trying to grift. I saw the Conservatives Phoenix showed me a liberal trying to grift this shit. Nobody gives a fuck about the hype man, hype person, if we progress that language.
Yes.
Because that's old hip hop language. Hype man, very gendered, very binary.
Yeah.
And patriarchal.
It is.
So this off of pitchfork.com. How the fuck long has this segment? Don't worry about that. Says, you want to destroy something we've built over 35 years over politics? Keep in mind, over 35 years after Phoenix Calida just read off of that list. That came from where? Politico?
No, that was I think it was a magazine.
One of them.
Billboard.
One of them popular. Okay, Billboard.
I was like, it's a music magazine.
And as I scroll down, looks like Chuck D's still lifting weights or something, or that nigga works in a factory too. I don't know what the fuck. But that nigga's fucking arms are clearly like 17 inches or bigger. Jesus fucking Christ. And so, Flavor Flav did go on the Twitter and expressed unhappiness.
Yes. My favorite part is how they shaded him, which basically solidifies your point. Because Public Enemy released an official statement that said, we did not part ways with Flavor Flav over political views. He's been on suspension since 2016 when he was MIA from the Harry Belafonte event in Atlanta, Georgia. That was the last straw for the group. He'd previously missed numerous live gigs from Glastonbury to Canada, album recording sessions, and photo shoots. He always chose to party over going to work.
All right, and you may be tuned into this program, and you're like, hey, Phoenix and Calida and William J. Jackson, those are some mighty fine Negro folks. And I learned a lot listening to this here show about what the colored folk go through. Here's your homework. Get on your Bing, get on your Google, get on your Yahoo, ask that nigga Jeeves. Are there reviews out there about this Harry Belafonte event that say the Public Enemy performance was fucking garbage because the hype man wasn't there? I just want to see if these reviews exist
Also,
in mass.
Keep in mind, they also went on tour with Wu-Tang Clan in 2019, and Flav missed that as well. So also check those reviews too.
Oh.
Which is also like, you think maybe you would want to go on tour with Wu-Tang Clan, but
Nah.
Whatever.
And somehow they managed to do it without the person who is neither lyricist nor vocalist, nor instrument player, nor DJ.
Nope.
You
don't
literally
need to be those things. Don't worry about it.
You jump up and down and say, yeah, throw your hands up, and every once in a while you ad-lib to the rap because you memorize the verse that isn't yours, you non-writing motherfucker. And,
that was another thing too in the royalties thing. He alleged that he wrote like 50 songs that Chuck never paid him for, and Chuck's like, I would love to see them. I would fucking love to see these verses.
Flav ass nigga, come on, man. Flav, stop being silly. So Flavor's on the Twitter, and this is actually his tweet verbatim. And I like that Chuck D's name is Mr. Chuck D, so that's just, if you want to at him, you have to address him by Mr.
You do.
Some folks might not get that, but if you're black, like... So it starts with, at Mr. Chuck D. Are you kidding me right now? 3 question marks, 3 commas, no space, over Bernie Sanders, 3 question marks. You want to destroy something we've built over 35 years? Over politics, all caps, 3 question marks, 3 commas, no space. All because I don't want to endorse a candidate? 3 commas, no space. I'm very disappointed in you and your decisions right now, Chuck. 3 commas.
Why not 3 commas? He's consistent.
God damn. You need to comma his ass the fuck down with this bullshit. And he continues on, and I think we could do without the drug shaming, right? That's a little foul. It'd be in the back of my head, like, because as black people, the word crackhead. Yes. We have a respectability politics with it. Gen X and millennials. I think Gen Z is going to be better than us.
Yes.
But God damn it, we hear crackhead and we look at you different forever. I'm part of the problem, but I guess I'm addressing it, but that's not enough, huh?
It's not enough. I feel like they were definitely shamey about his drug use. I think they made a valid point about when they were upset about the Love and Hip Hop just because of how it was portrayed. But yeah, I don't think you should go around calling people crackheads necessarily. It does have a stigma, it does have a stereotype.
Yeah, like, even though it's true, like, when they did the music video Night of the Living Bassheads, and again, there are folks that tune into this program, they call it bass because they're removing the base of the cocaine and leaving you with a rock. And that's why they called it freebasing when folks were doing that. And because Snoop Dogg is so skinny, that's how rappers that didn't like him would diss him. They'd be like, "Oh, Snoop out there freebasing," you know. And so they made a song called "Night of the Living Bassheads." And he said himself, when he was in that music video, he was actually high on crack in the video.
Well, and he said in his memoir that he spent $2,000 a day on crack, which is a lot.
I don't know if he said the exact same number, but that came up on Vlad as well.
Yeah, it's a lot. But I also think what's interesting is that they're suggesting he's still out partying, and he's saying that he's not, that he's been clean. And they're saying we were doing shows and you stayed home to get high and model bikini competitions. Or to judge bikini competitions. Not model them.
Oh,
sorry. Judge the bikini models. So,
I'm like, if Cuz wins, there were super delegates involved.
Involved. But that's also just interesting to me in the aspect, like, are they being sort of like extra shamey about it because they think he's still using? So is there like some underlying like anger about it?
I'll go a different direction.
Okay.
Nah. Same direction, different road.
Okay.
Maybe they're not assuming he's tooting up now. Oh, dear white folks, we have a lot of again, like, we have so many different like ways to say someone is smoking crack because we so don't like it. And but like, maybe he's not fucking tootin'. He's not freebasing, clucking, whatever the fuck now. He's not smoking crack now, but because they're so positive and responsible with their public front, there's probably frustration because they've never articulated it the way they want to. Like, they probably wanted to say, God damn it, put the fucking pipe down and do your fucking job.
Right.
Like, they probably want to say that, but they get in front of the cameras.
Do that, right.
Yeah, they're like, oh man, brother, we praying for you. They get in front of the cameras in the interview. They say, Flav is going through some problems right now. Like, I remember seeing a video clip, of Chuck D. I can't remember if it was on YouTube or that video site. It was not recent. And Chuck D was asked about, like, Flavor Flav being on these reality shows, and he was like, oh, he's doing his own thing right now. Maybe the group will, maybe we'll get back together and do some records. But you know what the fuck he wanted to say.
Right.
So maybe the pissed offedness has peakedified.
Peakedified.
Yes.
Yes.
Flavor Flav continues on his tweet storm of sorts. Says, also at Mr. Chuck D, 3 commas, no space. I'm not on drugs like you're saying, and have been clean for 10 years. 3 commas, no space. Lowercase I have battled addiction before, and like millions of other Americans, I know the massive toll it takes. 3 commas. No space, Chuck. You know better than to lie about shit like that. 4 commas.
4 commas.
That's that tweet. What up?
I'm not gonna lie, that's actually kind of fucking annoying though.
That's why I say those
commas.
parts.
No, not the commas, but the what did he say? I've battled addiction like millions of other Americans. Yeah, millions of other Americans didn't get their own fucking like VH1 reality show worth millions of dollars after they got out of rehab. So it's not really like other people.
I don't know about that, buddy.
Really?
For the most part. Like, you see how my biological father's doing? He's got a nice place in Lakewood. Lakewood. People from Washington State are hearing that, and they're responding to it different than folks that are not from Washington State. They're like, oh yeah, Lakewood, huh? Well, look at Mr. Fancy Slacks.
Fancy slacks, yes.
I bet some of your neighborhood, some of your neighbors are OG Crips as opposed to regular, It's... Yeah, I joke about my biological father being on crack. This is what jaded looks like, people.
Yes.
Do not sad face react. Do not.
They're going to.
That annoys the living shit out of me.
They're going to.
Ma'am. And Flavor Flav continues on this Twitter rant of sorts. And at Mr. Chuck D, 3 commas, no space, lowercase I didn't sue you on Friday, 3 commas, no space, lowercase I asked the at Bernie Sanders campaign to correct misleading marketing, because it's not campaigning, it's marketing.
It is marketing.
He's gonna drop his presidential album in November, and I think he's got some hits on there. He's been working on these songs for a while. I've been waiting for him to drop. He's got some good hits out there, like no one working 40 hours a week and other such things.
Yes.
How about people not working 40 hours a week shouldn't be in poverty? How about poverty is some manufactured bullshit that need not exist? But yeah, that's cracking off over there with Flavor McFlavorson. And this is indeed winecellarmedia.com. It is 9:04 p.m.
Yes.
Monday.
Yes.
March 2nd, 2020.
Yes.
I'm not supposed to be up.
You're not supposed to.
Should have been in bed about 30 minutes ago. And that's about that. So, if you like more, not very well-rested Negroes talking about hip-hop, you can go to patreon.com/winecellarmediafund. And I do have a trajectory in mind. A GoFundMe might be going up because we need to do separate fundraising for another laptop. We did a fundraiser for this laptop.
Yes.
I kept thinking, like, man, we could do it from the Wine Cellar Media Fund, but we need groceries and shit. So I actually do need to fundraise, specifically for a laptop. But I think I'm going to put other items like Like, we did have to replace my 2004 mixing board. I know that's what folks call it. It's an interface, but I get it. Mixing board for colloquialism. I had to replace my 2004 mixing board because it literally burned out, because after so many years, that's what'll happen. And the microphone is next. But also, this mixing board that we did get was like the cheap thing on the shelf that we could afford to grab with the Wine Cellar Media Fund at the time. And so I might just like put up a full list of things and like the price ranges that I'm looking at. And then just throw the GoFundMe up there and just post the shit out of it. And because we do need to YouTube broadcast. And also, I don't know how much more time this computer has left.
Right.
Like, this is like 2012, 2013 hardware. And it's like not those years anymore.
It's not those years anymore.
Yeah, so we'll see what the funk happens, all right? And there's also paypal.me/Phoenix and William. And Phoenix Cleater uses the Cash App. $,
Yes.
And no space.
Yes.
Phoenix Cleater.
Correct.
And that's all one word, no spaces. And that's how the Cash application works. I'm sure folks tuned into this know that shit better than me, so I trust you to fucking, like, Cash App, however that works. All right? And, I don't know. Just no hype man.
No hype man.
Person, if we are to progress the language. Damn. There needs to be something to flow smoother, though, because hype ends with P and person starts with P. So that ain't flowing at all.
Hype folk.
Hype, damn. That ain't... I think the problem is it's not natural. We're trying to make it, and that's something that made hip-hop so...
How about the hypeist?
Hypeist?
Yeah.
That's that... Oh, here comes Royce the 5'9" and his hypeist. Oh.
No, he's the hypeist.
That's what the hype man is, the hypeist?
Yeah.
I don't know. We shouldn't try to force it. We should acknowledge that it's gendered, and we're gonna come up with something corny as shit. It's not gonna flow. All right. Jesus Christ, that's enough to be its own whole ass goddamn episode.
Yeah.
Whoopsie doodle. And but other such things happened, right? Miss Majors endorsed Sanders.
Yes.
Chris Matthews quit right the fuck on air, which I don't want to just add that onto this. I want that to be its own post. So that is that. WineCellarMedia.com.